Hi, everybody. We're here with Fabio today and myself, Eduardo Peire. Hi, Fabio. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm here in Mexico, living the Mexican life, even though I'm not from here.
You're not from here. Okay, I had no idea. I thought you were Mexican. That's a surprise.
That's a secret. I'm not from here.
So, for whoever doesn't know you, okay, let me introduce just a tiny bit. So, Fabio Vàzquez is a data scientist that is actually a bit of a, we were talking before and we described him as a full stack data scientist, even is a crappy word to say full stack, but it's someone that is capable to do a lot of things. But please go ahead and explain a bit more what you do and who you are, yeah, and the reality where you're from, because that was a surprise. I thought you were Mexican.
All right. So I'm from Venezuela, actually.
Hmm.
I've been living here in Mexico, I think, since 2015. Yeah, 2015, like 3 years now. I came here to do my master's. Uh, I did my master's in physics, and that's what I studied in college. When I when I graduated school, the first thing I wanted to do was study music, but in the end, I went to study engineering. I went to chemical engineering, and then I realized this is not for me. Maybe I need something more like deeper into science or math. So I changed to physics, and at the same time, I changed to computer engineering. So I studied both at the same time.
Oh.
And after finishing both careers, I came here to Mexico to do my master's. So how that transformed me into a data scientist is
Please
kind of
explain
tricky.
that.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky, and but I think it's a common path for most data scientists. I mean, nowadays we have like more schools creating masters or even bachelor degrees in data science, but back in like 2 years ago there was none. So what I did is like I really got interested in cosmology and yeah, and into computational cosmology, how to program and do like big data computations for physics. At that time, I did them in C++ or Fortran, this kind of programming languages that are really common in science. But after that, I realized that there was, I mean, great languages out there like Python, R, JavaScript, and these kind of things that led me to great libraries like Spark and Pandas and Scikit-learn and Corret, and all of these libraries made me interested in the field of machine learning, not data science at that time. So I got interested in machine learning, and I started doing courses online. I think this is what most of us did, and we enrolled in the Andrew Ng's course, and we were there like learning from him because he's just great. And whenever I'm starting in a new field, he's teaching it. So that's incredible. And I enroll in so many courses from Python to R to data pipelines and data engineering and stuff. And and I got really interested in the field of data science. I think the breakthrough for me was entering the community, like contributing to open source, starting to create blogs, starting to contribute some opinions and knowledge or experiences in on on LinkedIn. I think that was like the point I realized, yeah, this is for me, and that's what and that's why I didn't I didn't go to do my PhD right away after finishing my master's, and I decided to keep the track with data science, and maybe someday I'll do my PhD in physics.
Which kind of open source are you contributing? That I had no idea. And so
Yeah.
I know that you contribute a lot, sorry, in this community of data science. I mean, you are posting great posts in Spanish. That's something really, really interesting because not a lot of people post in Spanish and in English. But how is the open source thing?
So the first maybe library I contributed was Spark. In 2014, I started using Spark in Scala because it was like the main language for Spark. I learned Scala and I love the language, by the way. and it's very very hard compared to Python or R to do some things, but it's a very powerful language. So when I was starting in data science and the machine learning field, I started using Spark a lot. I got really interested in the library and in the community, and I discovered some bugs. And these books were very simple maybe, but no one noticed before that there were some problems connecting Mesos, that is library for managing the resources of the cluster with Spark, and Spark itself. And I, for some reason, I don't know how yet, I went to the source code of Spark and I fixed it. And so I fixed it for me. And then I thought maybe this could help people in the world too that are Spark with Mesos. And I created my first commit and first pull requested issue in the collaboration of Spark. It was accepted. And that was in 2015. And then I just got so interested in Spark core. The core of Spark is written in Scala, but it has a full wrapper in Java, in Python, and R. So I started using more and more Spark, and I realized there were some more problems in the documentation, some libraries in the FP growth algorithm for market basket was not that good at that time to work with market baskets in Spark. And I think my main contribution in Spark was the transfer. I mean, I think the upgrade to Hadoop 2 from Hadoop 1. We were using Hadoop 1, and then I realized that after my change in the past, there were some libraries that were not compatible. And I created a commit that took 3 months of work with the community to end. And it was very interesting because I saw that the community was very active, and the creators were very active too in the posts and issues. So I got to know people from Cloudera, people from Netflix that were programming for Spark, and now I know them. I mean, they're not my best friends, but I know these people, and they guided me through the process of updating a big chunk of the Spark code at that moment.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you don't have the chance every day to talk with someone who did something like this. So that's something, wow. Okay, now I'm even, I mean, I'm not embarrassed, but I'm just a bit nervous. So, okay, now I'm interviewing an actual celebrity in that celebrity. So, but I believe that this thing would have helped you a lot in your career as a data scientist to find better jobs or have better connections, right? Like having contributed to Spark. So I can imagine myself whenever the recruiters call me and they ask me, do you know how blah, 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 Spark, blah, 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 Hadoop, blah, blah, blah. And I just say yes. And you can say, yes, I created things in them. So
yeah. I mean, I'm not. I never mentioned it on LinkedIn or ever. I mean, I have my GitHub profile, and the thing is, I have another site on GitHub. If you go to my GitHub, you can see I'm contributing to, I think, more than 14 source codes right now in data science in Julia, R, Scala, Python. And I mean, I do it for the community because when I was starting in data science and programming, I discovered GitHub, and that was an amazing thing for me because I don't know if the people listening
for Microsoft
are what.
GitHub was an amazing thing for you and for Microsoft also.
Yeah. I mean that's another story, but I think at that moment, like 5 years ago when I discovered GitHub, I mean, I didn't understand the point of GitHub at that moment. I'm gonna be honest. I entered there to look for examples for my homework and stuff. Oh yeah, I need to do this, so I'm gonna look for examples here, and I'm gonna try to do something similar. And then I realized, hey, this is open source. And what's open source? So I started to learn more. And I think my programming skills got a lot more better after contributing into open source. I actually have my own open source code. It's called Optimus.
For doing
And
what?
Optimus is a data cleansing library that is created with Spark and Python. And I created that with a team in Venezuela because at that moment, and even right now, I don't think that there's a full solution for data cleaning in big data. So if you have a lot of data, it's very hard to remove special characters or to just normalize the data and all of these different things with one API. And that's what we are creating right now. It has a lot of stars now on GitHub. People are using it, and I'm the only one maintaining it, so it's very hard. So if you're interested and you're listening to this and you want to contribute, you're free to do that, please.
Please help Fabio. Okay, we will
Yeah,
actually.
it's very
I will
hard.
put the link in the video so everybody can access that easily, and there's no way to not get there, because I think it's something really, really, yeah, really interesting. So I was cleaning this data set yesterday, and I got 32 ways of saying positive or things, crazy things, and like this, there's other things, but that was just like what I have more recent in my mind. But let's do something, okay? Because I want to bring you into my field. I see that you're a hardcore coder, you're a hardcore programmer, but I'm a person that is not a hardcore programmer. I'm a person that puts things together to create a thing. Like, I don't know if you have seen that we have developed a microscope that diagnoses malaria without doctors. Malaria and some other, and it's also open source. So, but what I wanted to see something. I just got this idea because I see you're a crazy, brilliant person, okay? And I want to see how we can deal with that in a really fun way, okay? So I was thinking, I got once this example that they asked me, and I think it's a really classic example of data science, really basic thing. How would you count how many people are about to go to the Eiffel Tower? Okay, how would you do that in a really easy way, super simple way?
So if I understand the question, how can I count how many people will go to the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, so
One day, when?
In a moment. So it's today. Now it's Tuesday. Here it's almost 7 o'clock p.m. So I want to know how many people are going to come tomorrow.
All right. What I will do is very weird. What I will do is
Yes, that's what I want to hear. Weird stuff. Good, good.
Okay, this is my first approach. It's very simple, actually. What I will do is I'm gonna try to engage with the people entering in the Eiffel Tower, maybe with a button or something that I know that someone is entering in the Eiffel Tower. And I will collect the data for maybe 1 week, not that much, because there's a lot of people coming into the Eiffel Tower every day, I think. So they're pressing a button, or they're interacting with something that allows me to save that the one person is entering in the Eiffel Tower. And after that, it's very simple to do some inference.
Good. And how would you do that in a science fiction way?
In a science fiction way.
Everything is possible now, okay? Unlimited money, unlimited resources.
All right. If I have all of the resources in the world, I will create a time machine, and then
perfect. Okay.
And I'll go to tomorrow. I'll stay there, count the people, and I'm gonna go back to today. And I'm gonna tell you, hey, 2,000 people, for sure.
Okay.
Even with pictures of people.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. So something that I was not supposed to think about. So it was amazing. That was actually a brilliant answer. So cool, Fabio. Tell me just one tiny thing, okay? Now that we're here, tiny advice for whoever wants to be a Fabio in the near future. So we have seen contribute in open source, work a lot, and a third thing.
All right. So the advice I think changes when people ask me, because I think it depends on who you are right now. Because if you're a programmer, it's a different advice. If you're not a programmer, if you're a scientist, it's not the same if you're not a scientist. And if you're not interested, this is not an advice for no one. So I think the first thing I will tell to myself, like 5 years ago, if I'm gonna when I was starting in data science, is to to be patient, because there's, I think 5 years ago I was in like 5 different MOOCs at the same time, studying Python and R and machine learning and everything at the same time, and I got overwhelmed. I mean, I was like, wow, and there's so many knowledge I have to understand right now, and I felt that I did so much in so little time that I didn't grasp the whole thing at that moment. And I need, and in the years I needed to go back and, oh yeah, I saw this one time but I didn't pay that much attention, or I didn't do that homework, or I didn't actually program this thing. So I went back and I did it. So I think what I'm doing right now, and this has been my path to learning, deep learning right now, is I take things with calm. I read articles, I read blogs. When I learn something, I contribute back to the society, maybe with a blog post or some open source information or a webinar or something. And I realized that teaching is a very good way of learning. And if you have the skills to just present something or do it like a simple presentation, or something for your friends, family, or your coworkers, do that. I mean, it doesn't have to be public. It can be like an inside thing. And I think that will be my first advice. Be patient. You can do it, but it will take you time to do that. Second, I will say that you will need to not to stop being afraid of things, and that's very hard, because when I was starting in data science, it was very scary, because for I think most of my experience in data science has been being the only data scientist in a company, or being the principal data scientist in a company. And that can be scary if you think that the whole company is expecting a lot from you, because now we have data science in our hands all the time. We have like Siri and Netflix and all of these different situations and algorithms and or computers, and nothing is like that amazing right now. If I say to a person, hey, I created an algorithm to detect a face, it is like, yeah, but that's Snapchat. So for us it's very hard to do things, but people, because it's so common right now, they're not understanding the complexity of doing these things. So I think when I'm saying don't be afraid, it's like know what you know, make sure that you feel comfortable with the things you are supposed to know. If you still feel that you need to have the courage to explain to anybody what is data science and what you're doing in that moment of time, and which programming language you prefer, and why what is machine learning, why it's important for the company. And all of these things are not that simple in the beginning of a career in data science. And I think they will be less and less important, because I think the world is now understanding what is data science and what are processes and things. But 4 years ago, it was a very new topic for a lot of people, and most and I think in Latin America, I mean, there's not that much people doing data science. So, but in the same time, the companies want you to be a Silicon Valley data scientist. So it's very hard to keep up.
That's amazing. Yeah, actually, I have to say that you're totally right. In dealing with companies, it's difficult because they have no idea what they want. They literally, they know that they need that. They know that it's the present and the future, but they have no idea. But Fabio, thank you very much. So it was a pleasure having you here. And I think actually I'm wow. I'm wow. The word to describe this is wow. And yeah, I think that it will help a lot of people to hear this conversation. So thank you.
All right. So thank you very much for listening and for being there. And I'll see you soon.